See? I told you I wouldn't keep you waiting. Wario Land is the not really anticipated conclusion to the Super Mario Land trilogy. It changed things drastically from the previous two games, and it was received pretty positively, but it wasn't as good as Mario Land 2. Probably, but I need some questions to start this video off, Will. Let's take a good look at Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land. This time, the story follows everyone's favorite anti-hero, Wario. After getting kicked out of Mario's castle last game, he says he's gonna get his own castle to try to one-up Mario. Now, castles ain't cheap, so he needs a quick way to get a bunch of cash. He hears that some pirates stole a giant gold statue of Princess Peach, and so he sets out to find it and rescue it, only to sell it for some green. The story isn't about saving a girl or doing the right thing, it's about getting filthy rich. Very fitting of Wario's character. Anyways, the game itself. Right off the bat, we can see one of the best returning features, save files. Yay! Unlike the last two games, I won't be going through each world and its levels because most of them are pretty interchangeable. They all follow a very similar structure. Start with your back to the left side of the screen and go right however you can. Eventually you'll walk through a door and fight a couple of enemies in this weird looking thing. This is the exit to the level, but it needs you to pay 10 coins to leave. This is a really nice way to make you explore the level a bit, but not too much mask since coins are bloody everywhere in this game. Anyways, once you pay up, the door will open up with one of the most satisfying sounds I've ever had the pleasure of hearing. Good stuff. You'll then be able to do a bonus game which I'll get to later, and the level ends. Rinse and repeat 40 times so you've got yourself a 3 to Mario Land. Now, this alone sounds boring. So how's the game keep your attention for the whole game? Well, Wario's moveset. Wario is much more than his cousin. Firstly, he can pick up and throw enemies. This is a pretty cool move, but it's not used too much in this game. It's generally attacked as small Wario, but in any form of Wario, you have a much better move. I'm certain the sequels expand on it, but I'm probably not going to look at those. Anyways, Wario's other attack is a shoulder bash, or dash. The dash just happens to be one of the best attacks ever put in a platformer. It does everything you could possibly want it to. It makes it go faster, it kills enemies, it breaks blocks, it gives you a larger jump, and even got reference in Smash. It's an all-in-one move you can use in any situation imaginable. But Wario's moves can be upgraded in a variety of ways. Much like the Mario series, Wario can obtain several power-ups in this game. Granted, there are only 3, but they're all very useful. First is Viking Wario. Viking Wario feels like a nice progression of regular Wario. It doesn't add too much, but instead improves on what's already there. His dash is better, he can kill foes above him with his spiky hat, and can stick to ceilings, which is never useful and is really more of an inconvenience than anything. The big addition Viking Wario adds is the ground pound, which stuns all enemies on screen. It's another solid addition and combos nicely into the dash to kill a foe. Viking Wario is never a bad power to have, and all his little additions really go a long way. Dragon Wario is easily the weakest of the 3. Wario gains a really long range attack, and that in and of itself isn't bad, far from it. The problem stems from the fact that this fire attack comes in exchange for your dash. I just talked about how great the dash is, so you can understand how giving up for a long range attack can be a difficult decision. Dragon Wario isn't bad, at all. It's just really difficult to give up all of your mobility for it. Last but certainly not least is Jet Wario. Jet Wario sets out to improve Wario's mobility in a variety of ways. It greatly increases his movement speed and jump height, which is just really nice, but that's not what makes it so great. The main appeal of Jet Wario is his massively buffed dash. You can now dash in the air and underwater, and while doing that, your dash lasts for an insanely long time. If used well, you can skip over colossal chunks of a level with a really long air dash, which is immensely satisfying to do. Jet Wario is my favorite of the 3, in case you haven't figured it out. The sheer stupid mobility you get with it is truly unmatched. Like I said earlier, most of the levels are pretty unnotable, but there are a couple of other ones I want to briefly discuss. The first are the only 2 auto-scrolling levels in the game. Both take place on trains and have you travel from car to car, dodging a couple of enemies. There are then a couple quick breaks where you travel on a low trolley and collect a bunch of coins. I've never been too big a fan of auto-scrollers, but both these have just the right amount of auto-scrolling and regular gameplay to be a tolerable break. The other level I want to discuss is my favorite in the game, which interestingly enough takes place in between the 2 train levels. In it, Wario starts at the bottom of a very tall tree, and the exit is all the way at the top. The level requires you to climb up the tree, occasionally going inside and outside of it, in a big old labyrinth. While that sounds pretty bad, in execution it is great. You always know where you need to go, which is typically up, and all the other paths have some nice treasure at them. Plus, the level actively encourages the use of Jet Wario for shortcuts, and the treasure at the end requires really good use of it, which I really like. Speaking of treasure, I should discuss that. Throughout the game, you can find 15 pieces of treasure. All of these are hidden throughout certain levels, and some of them are really difficult to find, but it's absolutely worth getting them in the end game. Throughout my playthrough, I only found 3 of the 15, but that's not bad for playing through the game blind. Even with only 1/5 of the treasure, it made a big impact on the end of the game. Last thing about levels, the bonus games return from Mario Land 2. This time, rather than requiring you to touch the top bell to activate them, they just require a bit of dough to play. You can play for coins or lives. The coin game is the other returning classic from Mario Land 2, gambling. Hooray! The life game is a shooting gallery type game that I am absolutely atrocious at. Just look at these throws. Both of them are really fun ways to earn extra rewards. If you go for coins after a boss level, you can really score big. Now, I should discuss the end of the game and how treasure is used. After navigating your way through the island, you'll find yourselves on the doorstep of Captain Syrup's castle. You'll navigate through a couple of levels, but it's nothing like the final level of Mario Land 2, and soon enough you'll be at the final boss. Oh yeah, there are boss fights in this game. I won't talk about them because they're all incredibly boring, but they sure exist. Anyways, Syrup will summon a genie to fight you for her, and the only interesting boss fight in the game. The genie will hover just out of reach, so you need to throw the lamp where he came from, and pray it lands right side up, so it'll produce a cloud you can ride on to get to him. That's right, in the final battle of this game, a large chunk of it is up to good old RNG. How fun. If you get really lucky with the clouds, you can jump on him upwards of 3 times with a single cloud, which really does some damage. After not throwing up the lamp and riding on clouds, Wario will defeat the genie and Captain Syrup runs away. After exiting the castle, it'll explode behind Wario, revealing what he's been looking for this whole time, the statue. It's truly majestic. And then friggin' Mario shows up and steals it with a goddamn helicopter that he apparently owns. His name is in the title of the game and he waits until the very end to show up, only to completely screw over Wario. What a jerk. But Wario has another plan, the genie. He talks to him and the genie says that he will grant Wario one wish. Now, in this moment, Wario could have anything he pleases. Infinite wealth, world peace, or maybe a WarioWare game on Switch. But no, he asks for a castle. Now, genies don't work for free, so he's gotta pay up. Every cent you earn throughout the game goes to this genie, and it'll determine what ending you get. Oh yeah, there are multiple endings in this scenario. Depending on how much dough you get throughout the game, Wario's new lot will vary from a birdhouse to an entire planet. I guess treasure hunting does pay off. Speaking of treasure, this is where it comes in. Every piece of treasure you get will be counted as a huge amount of coins. Even with only 3, I was able to nearly double my coin count. With around 14,000 coins, I got a decent ending, in which Wario gets himself a nice tree to live in. He doesn't seem to like it though. That won't stop him from showing it off, and as Wario flexes on everyone with his new treehouse, the credits roll on by. So that was Super Mario Land 3, Wario Land. I think it was my favorite of the 3, but it was rather close. I really like all of Wario's moveset, but I prefer the level design of Mario Land 2. But I think the last level of Mario Land 2 alone is enough to make Wario Land surpass it. If you're looking for an interesting take on 2D platformers, this is right up your alley. I will probably not be reviewing the sequels to this game, as I'm happy to keep it as a trilogy. And with that said, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, do tell me that. I always appreciate feedback, as I want to be the best content creator I can be. And if you really like the video, consider subscribing. According to my funny graph, only 3.5% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, which is pretty low. It really helps a lot, and it'll help you stay up to date on my future uploads. Speaking of, this is the third of 4 videos for my 100 sub poll, and you all know what's next. I hope you're looking forward to it as much as I am, and I'll see you all then. Thanks for watching.